Hey guys, back at the unit today. We've got the 63 here, going to put it up on the lift in a minute, trying to resolve the problem we had last weekend at the test track with it boiling over, steam everywhere. Pretty sure that was an airlock in the system. There are a couple of leaks on the cooling system as well, so what we're going to do is drop all the coolant out, fix the leaks, and then I've got a new tool to vacuum the air out of the system and replace it with coolant. Hopefully that will eliminate any airlocks and mean I won't need to bleed it, because it's an absolute pig to bleed this system. Let's get it up in the air, see if it works. Right, up in the air, we've got a 30 litre box there to catch all the coolant in. It's nice and clean. I don't know how much coolant it does hold, but it shouldn't be 30 litres, that's a hell of a lot. What we're going to do is undo this joint here and just let the coolant fall into the box. And then once it's all drained out, we can make it back up again. I think, looking at it, part of the issue is this pipe here goes uphill slightly, and this one's a little bit as well. I think these two pipes could stand to be a little bit shorter. Both of these two, one there. Just nip the ends off, shorten them a little bit, and then that'll bring that all up nice and neat and a bit more out of the way. It's not brilliant where it is, I don't think, and it looks a bit vulnerable as well. It's quite low down, so whilst there's no coolant in, this is the perfect time to do that as well. Okay, this is one of the cooling pipes. It's just a piece of copper pipe, but I mean, it does the job perfectly well. It's designed for heating and cooling systems in houses. Why wouldn't it work in cars? It doesn't look brilliant though, because it's sort of bare copper. I'm going to give it a squirt of satin black. I'm not sure if it'll stand up to the heat or not, but it's got to be worth a try. I've also just cut the end of it off slightly, just to shorten it, to bring the whole thing up underneath the car a little bit tidier. Right, let's get some paint on it. While that's drying, I can get the other one off and shorten that as well. This is just to hold it while I'm painting it. The very ends don't need paint because that's where the couplers go. But look at that, a zip tie moment. Freiburger will be proud. Well, they were going to be satin black, but I've just found this in the drawer there, aluminium VHT paint. So they're going to be aluminium coloured instead. Okay, just bring the lift down a little bit now. There's a water leak on the cooling system header tank that needs sorting out. Obviously can't do it while it's up there, so let's bring it down, get on with that. This is the header tank here, and it's leaking from this joint here where the filler neck meets onto the header tank. I'm going to take it off. There's a bolt there, one on the side, pop the whole thing off and remake the joint in there, try and fix the leak. gasket there. So I've just got this piece of gasket paper, pressed it on, and you can see where I need to cut now for the 2 bolt holes and the actual hole itself where the coolant goes through. Make a little gasket, bit of sealant, put that back on, hopefully that'll fix the leak. There we are, gasket made, plenty of sealant goo applied on it. That should not leak anymore. Now this is a bit of a venture into the unknown. This is a vacuum cooling system filler purger thing. The idea is that you hook it up to the radiator cap, or in this case the header tank, connect an air line to it, and it sucks all of the air out of the cooling system, and then you open another valve and it replaces the vacuum that it's just created with coolant that it sucks out of a bucket. I've never used one of these before, but it was recommended by Marco, the guy that built the engine on this car. I'm not sure how it's going to work because the cooling system isn't completely drained. It's still got some water in it. It must have, because only a little bit came out. But I guess it will pull that out while it pulls the air out. We will see. Okay, got it all set up. I did just try it out to make sure it worked. It's quite noisy, but we'll film it anyway. What we've got here is the vacuum gauge. Air goes in here, out of there, creates a vacuum which draws through this blue pipe out of the header tank there with a rubber cone shaped plug in it. That vacuums all the air out of the system so that it's completely vacuumed, negative pressure. We're looking for 50 to 60 on the gauge here, which is the yellow section. Then when that's done, you turn it off with the valves here, open this valve, and this pipe, which is sat in this bucket of coolant, replaces the vacuum with coolant. Now there's no air in the system, so no air locks. We will see. Right, that's better. That's clamped in place. It's not pinched it though. So get the little valve open, see what happens. Watch for the coolant coming through. There it goes. Wow. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's sucking the water up. You can hear it gurgling and flushing through. Those pipes are still collapsed. And it goes. Still got a vacuum on the gauge there. I think we'll leave this going and see what happens in a few minutes. And that's it, vacuum's back down to 0. I think that's it filled up. Take all this off, put the cap back on, start the engine, see if it gets to temperature. Well, that worked remarkably well. It needed about another half a litre of coolant topping up, which is not the end of the world really. So now we'll get it down off the lift, get the engine started up to temperature, and then make sure it doesn't overheat, make sure there's no air locks, and then go for a drive. Well, I'm very happy with that. We're going to call that a big win. The coolant never got past 80 degrees, which is perfect. It's pulling strong. There was no clouds of steam like last time. Auto tune on the laptop was making things even better all the time. Very, very happy with this at the moment. Even went to Costco, which is where I went last time I was out in it, and it wouldn't start. Hot start sorted now, starts perfectly. Yep, very, very pleased with it. Now, I'm going to go to Cars and Coffee next weekend at Barton Aerodrome. I'm going to drive it there. That's the furthest I've ever driven this car. It's probably only, I don't know, 15 miles. I mean, it's not that far. But I was always worried about driving. It was always getting hot, or it wouldn't start, or whatever. I have now got the confidence in the car that it's going to be all right. Is that confidence misplaced? Tune in next week and find out. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment, and I will see you next time. Cheers.